There you go. All right, we are live. I'd
Hi.
like to welcome back our friend Alex Jordan.
Hi.
Alex, thanks for joining us again. So a few weeks ago, we talked about color grading, and we're going to go into a little bit more detail, specifically talking this time about highlight roll-off and lookup tables, or LUTs. So my first introduction to LUTs was, I think it was back. The first thing I heard about was film convert, I think, and then there was also impulse LUTs. And a lot of these are kind of look LUTs or film emulation LUTs. And I was a little confused by what these do. And I wonder if, Alex, you could kind of talk through first a definition of a LUT and what those film emulation LUTs are doing.
Okay. Hi. Okay, let's start with a LUT. What's a LUT? A LUT basically is a lookup table, is a translation tool. There are a lot of great videos on YouTube that really explains what LUTs are. They're basically a color translation tool. So basically you take a set of colors and you change them into a different set of colors. However, there is okay, I'm going to say it. There is a myth that basically there are some film LUTs that you just drag on top of your footage and you have the film look right away, like your footage will just look filmic because of a LUT. That's not true, because LUTs are an equation. So think of, okay, let's just say that I have a LUT that says, okay, take red, okay, and add increase the saturation of red by 2. That's your LUT, okay? So it all depends on what's the original level of your saturation, of your red saturation. I mean, if red was really very saturated and you add more saturation, it's just going to look good. And if it's not really saturated and you add it, it's going to, look different. So the myth that you can just throw a LUT on something and it looks really filmic, it just doesn't work. However, they're good. I'm not saying that LUTs are bad. I'm not saying don't use LUTs. LUTs can make your work much faster. LUTs can give you a real starting or finishing point. Some people just use them as a finishing. After they correct their footage and get everything right, they just add a LUT, and it just gives it this, like, one of the main components of the film look is certain hues that the original film, the celluloid film, basically added to your images. Film was never faithful in recording the true colors of a scene. It always added some certain color cast for different film stocks. Mm-hmm. So some LUTs try to take or analyze what every film stock used to add to the footage and do the thing. However, it can work if your footage looks great to start with, but you can't just expect just to take any piece of footage, add a LUT on top of it, and would just be filmic.
Okay. So that's kind of clarifies some things for us.
I'm sorry, because I'm really passionate about this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. And I think one of the use cases, if you will, I don't know if that's a great term, but if you're shooting something in a log profile or a flat profile, a LUT can help you in that case too, right?
Of course, because let's have two main uses. Okay, one's as a color correction tool or a look correction tool. They call it camera patches, where basically if you're shooting an S-log, and if you're shooting an S-log, for example, you can just add an S-log footage to Rec. 709 footage, and it should theoretically make your footage look right. Okay, if your footage was exposed correctly for S-log, okay, and log exposure is not is a bit trickier process than just exposing Rec. 709, where you just get everything to the right and everything works fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're doing that, your LUTs are gonna help you. The second thing is a color grading to give a certain look to your footage. And yes, in this sense, LUTs will give you some very beautiful and unique looks, but not a film look. There's a huge difference, because if you think of film look, what is a film look?
Well, I think there are a lot of components. I think there's...
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I think frame rate and motion blur is part of it. Aspect ratio may be an element of it. I think the noise grain patterns may be part of it, and then the color
Exactly, that is true.
response.
Set design is a part of it. Lenses, the right use of lenses is a part of it. Lighting is a part of it. I mean, film look is a very big word.
Yeah.
Film look is basically emulating the look of films. Films that over the past century we've grown to like the look of certain films, and we want to emulate that. Okay, so emulating these films is not as simple as emulating the colors of the film. You have to get the everything. It's a huge chain, you know.
Yeah.
Like starting from set design all the way to grain. Okay, so LUTs can definitely help. They can help you get there. But I wouldn't say that they're film that they will give you the exact film look. However, LUTs are very good in one thing. Is sometimes for new people, let's say a person who's just starting with film production, he's learning about cameras and everything, and he can't really spend a lot of time learning professional color grading. LUTs can perform some advanced tasks that, again, you can do it on your own. You can completely do everything that a LUT does on your own with simple curves tool and just like basic three-way color corrector. But it just makes your work faster.
Okay.
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 Yeah, because some LUTs are built in with or are designed with the highlight roll-off, protection in mind. So basically, when you add the LUT, okay, you're adding contrast or whatever you're doing, okay, it will perform some advanced tasks like protecting the highlights, protecting the shadows, adding mid-tone contrast, things that you can do on your own, but you need to know how to do it. Maybe you don't have the time to learn, or maybe you know how to do it, but you don't have the time to actually perform all the tasks on every piece of footage.
Yeah. Okay. That highlight roll off is really pretty intriguing to me. You have a free course over at filmsimplified.com that's all about LUTs and color correction. And I'll go ahead and leave a link for that down below after here. But one of the things that really struck me when I saw that is you have this one segment of the training where you cover Rec 709 versus flat profile versus log profile. And that was really eye-opening.
Oh, yeah, I think flat and log profile. There's one thing. There's the dynamic range of the camera. Okay,
Yeah.
The dynamic range of the camera is basically the container. How much light can it take from from shadows to highlights without overexposing anything, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you're not shooting raw, of course, if you're shooting raw, all what we're saying is irrelevant entirely because it's linear and there's no problem. You're not going to face any trouble. But if you're shooting anything other than raw, flat and log profiles are fundamentally different. Okay, in terms of basically highlights roll-off. Highlights roll-off is historically film when people shot on actual film rolls on celluloid had a very nice thing, which is basically when the exposure went from being mid-tone and going all the way to highlights, it was a very sweet roll. There were always these very small steps, going from mid-tones to highlights. So there was no clear point where the image would go from dark to light like really fast. Okay, so and this was a struggle for digital sensors, because digital sensors had a different way of exposing or interpreting the footage, and there was always this problem of the image would like go really smooth and all of a sudden it would just flat out.
Yeah. Blown out, just completely blown out highlights.
Yeah, and even before it gets blown out, that's the tricky part. If you shoot the sky, you can see that the information is there. Like if you look at if you get a flat profile, not a log profile, and like the semi-style, and you shoot like the sky, and all the information is there. Nothing is really overexposed. But when you look at the cloud, you're like, something is weird. The stops are really close. The cloud doesn't look natural. They don't have the okay, it's not blown out, it's not overexposed at all. But still, there is no much difference between midtones and highlights. It's just like really weird. And when you shoot it with log, now you can really see it. I shot yesterday like some examples that I can show you now.
That's perfect. Yeah, let's have a look.
You told me I thought about this. How can I share my screen? Just a second. Okay, I'm having a problem here with the mouse. Just 1 second. Okay, so so share screen and entire screen, or this part, and share. So can you see my screen now?
It's, yep.
Good. Okay, so this is the same scene shot with two different cameras with three different cameras and three different profiles. So this is a very high contrast scene. I mean, if you look at it here, you have, sorry again, you have the light coming from the right side. This is a very bright, not sure what to call this in English, but it's something bright. And you have the plate here, and you have the plate here. And let's talk about one thing here. Forget about the dynamic range and the contrast and everything. Let's just talk about how the dark parts of the image are transitioning into highlights. Okay,
Yep.
so if you look at this part here, you can see that on this part, on the left here, you have these dark areas, and there is a very clear line here that takes the highlights on the right and the shadows on the left. And you can see a very clear, bright area here on the plate. Okay, that is not overexposed. Okay,
Right.
but all the information is there, but it still looks weird. It looks way brighter than the rest of the image.
Mm-hmm.
This was shot with the standard Rec 709 profile using the NEX5.
Okay, so a little Sony
Okay.
camera.
Yeah, and this is the same scene again, bit better. This is with Cine Style from Canon Cine Style. This is the Canon 6D. Okay, and you can see, even though nothing is overexposed, you can clearly see the transition here. How we're going from midtones, the highlight, a bit here is really overexposed. Let's take a look at this and the last one. This is the S-Log footage. Okay, and you can see that the transition is completely different here. Can you see this one?
Yeah.
Can you see it? This is the same scene with the same exposure, nothing changed. I just swapped cameras, okay? And you can see here that it's really going from shadows very gradually into being highlights. I mean, look at the shadows here. There's a very nice graduation going from, shadows all the way to highlights. And here there's also, the line is not as defined or as clear as the line here.
Yeah. Okay.
Or the line here, for example. Like, look at this exposure here. Okay, or the line here. So highlights roll-off is a very important thing. It's one of the last frontiers, one of the that we have to really solve with digital cameras. And if you're shooting raw, this doesn't matter because you have your exposure recorded in a linear fashion, and just no problem. But if you're shooting with anything other than raw, then you'll need to take care of your highlights roll-off. I do understand that not all cameras have a log profile. I'm not saying that not having log, I'm not saying that you will not be able to get a film look if you don't have a log profile on your camera. Of course you can.
Right.
It just makes things a bit easier.
And it sounds like it's an important component. If you are going to use LUTs, you want something that will manage those highlights. Yeah,
exactly. Let me 1 second. Let me see if I can do things now. Let's just talk about normal contrast. I'm just going to take this scene now. Okay, and let's just add a normal, just very standard contrast adjustment. 1 second. Yeah, this is, of course, nobody will do this now, but anyway, this is just the most basic way of adjusting contrast. I just have a brightness and contrast controller here. I'm just going to increase contrast. Okay, now notice what happened. In order to increase contrast, the algorithm inside the effect, okay, decided automatically to give more data to the midtones and sacrifice the highlights or shadows. Okay, just the way things are built with the Rec 709 mode. Okay, and even if I just decide to bring the brightness down, okay, still just doing the same thing. I'm just going to be sacrificing the entire image, okay, and just bringing the entire image down in order to protect the highlights.
Right.
Okay, and even if we add a 1 second, let's for example a fast color corrector, and with the fast color corrector, in order to protect the highlights, I'm just going to be bringing the input, increasing the input level, just bring the shadows down. Okay, still I had to bring the midtones down in order to add my contrast and protect the highlights. So I had to sacrifice shadows in order to get to protect the highlights.
Right.
Okay, so however, but if you know, if you have a slightly more sophisticated tool other than Premiere with this current version, the next iteration of Premiere is going to have like really way more advanced effects, color grading
Yeah.
effects.
That looks
Yeah,
exciting, actually.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that looks really exciting. So one of the things you can do is simply to add a LUT on top of this. 1 second. Dimitri. Oh, sorry.
So was
Yeah.
this was shot again, S-Log,
This is
Sony?
S-Log, yeah, and I add this because 1 second, I'll just so this is the basic. Oh yeah, okay. So we can simply add a contrast adjustment. Okay, some sort of a to increase the contrast a bit with the LUT that was designed to protect the highlights. Okay, notice that when we added all of these different contrast adjustments, we added contrast without sacrificing the midtones, the balance between what's midtones and what's highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can see that the middle here is still exposed the same way it was. I
Yep.
have more contrast in the image, and nothing happened to the highlights. I still have the same
Yep.
highlights roll. And this is very important when you're adding, your last. By the way, this footage is S-Log 2 and with a simple LUT added because this is the original way S-Log 2 looks.
Okay.
Yeah, I just added a simple LUT on top of it, and I just added another LUT. This LUT, I won't really be using it, the last one for the contrast adjustment. It's just really powerful. Okay, so this is a normal. So basically, I was able to add contrast without sacrificing the highlights roll-off.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
which is one of the main things that LUTs can do. Again, everything a LUT can do, you can do on your own. There's no magic, nothing. There's no
Right.
magical formula here. It's just a matter of doing it easier and faster. Simple as that.
Very good. Now, what if if we applied that LUT and I wanted to maybe dial it back a little, is that an option?
Yeah, of course, you can simply, and of course, in every different software, in every different environment, you get a different way. I've never tried it with Premiere, but I do understand that in Premiere, if you add an adjustment layer, 1 second, let me just bring an adjustment layer here. Okay, so this is my adjustment layer, and let me just choose a LUT. 1 second, Dimitri, cross process. Let's just take this one. Okay, and I can simply reduce the opacity of the adjustment layer itself. 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry because my system is a bit slow. But yeah, you can. What happened here is that I simply added an adjustment layer on top of my footage. An adjustment layer. I'm sure you're familiar with it, but for people who are not familiar with it, are simply it's a technique that is coming from Photoshop. So any effect you add to this layer, which is an adjustment layer, will affect all the layers beneath it.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah. So basically, you can just add it to this adjustment layer and control the opacity of the adjustment layer itself, which will allow you basically to adjust how powerful the LUT is.
Very good. Okay. And you created your own set of LUTs. Tell us a little bit about those.
Okay. Again, just a disclaimer first. Again, sorry, these are not film emulation LUTs. These
Okay.
LUTs will not make you, it will not just make your footage look more filmic right away. However, these LUTs are designed to make your life easier by performing advanced tasks that usually you need either advanced techniques and advanced knowledge to actually accomplish these tasks, or you can, or sorry, yeah, I just lost track here. so basically these LUTs will make it easier and faster for you to get certain looks. You can get these looks on your own, but it will take you either a long time or like an advanced set of skills to accomplish the same LUTs, and you can just accomplish these looks with a simple LUT.
Okay.
So yeah, so when I added these, when I started this process of creating the LUTs, I actually created them for myself originally. It wasn't supposed to be something that's available for everybody. You know, just over the past 3 years, I was creating them for my own projects, and so basically, when I designed them for myself, they were supposed to make my life easier. That's all.
Right.
Yeah. So let me just give you a very fast. Sorry. Yeah. This is the. Let me add a Dimitri effect here. Yeah. So when you add the Dimitri effect here, the 1 second. LUTs. Yeah, okay. So you have these sets of different LUTs, okay? Now these LUTs, again, they are not film emulation LUTs. They are look emulation LUTs, which simply means that I went on, I used to go on analyzing certain looks for certain film genres and see how certain genres treat color differently. Okay, like sometimes I would do some commercials, sometimes I would do some action, mafia, detective films, you know, and so I created these sets of LUTs, and then I discovered that there was something missing. I needed a different set of LUTs that will actually perform some advanced operations that are not really, that require a long time usually to accomplish. And that's how I created this basic LUT pack. There's something called basic here. This is the heart of everything. This is how everything works. So basically this basic LUT pack is divided into sections. Okay, so you have the color sections where these are different certain effects that can be added. These LUTs can be added to accomplish certain effects. Like, for example, this is the color section and this is the color blue. So you go to color, blue, desaturate. So this LUT is, there's nothing secret about this LUT. It will simply just desaturate everything blue.
Okay.
And the next one will just reduce the saturation of blue instead of desaturating entirely. And they have cyan, green, magenta, red, and yellow. So basically, of course, in certain environments, like if I'm working inside Premiere Pro, it's very hard to accomplish this. You need to go to an effect, look for your effect. And let's just say it's not really precise. It's not really very effective in doing that.
Yep.
So then you have colors, like I like the keep red. I have the overall. These are the 4 different contrast LUTs.
Let's see, are we? I'm not sure your screen is updating here.
Oh, really? Oh, sorry.
Just 1 second. Let's see what's going on. I'm seeing Premiere Pro, and you're on the Effects tab.
Oh, wow! So I've been.
Sorry.
Okay. No problem. It's okay.
It's a Google Hangouts.
It's okay. Let me just turn the stop the screen sharing, and I'll just come back to it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure if.
There you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Sorry. So these LUTs are simple. They don't do anything magical. They're just advanced effects that you can totally create on your own, just packed into a LUT that can be performed really fast. And so first you have the basic LUT pack, which basically allows you to color correct or perform simple, perform some advanced tasks, like, for example, desaturating your shadows. That's very important. So instead of, some LUTs come with a built-in, built-in is the wrong term. They come with a shadows desaturation built into them.
Right.
Yeah, and then there are, but if you don't have this, if you just have your footage and you added some contrast and it just looks weird and you just want to desaturate shadows, in a lot of environments that's really hard. In a lot of hardware, if you're just monitoring, that's really hard. So you can just add a simple LUT that will desaturate shadows. Okay. And then you have the 4 contrast LUTs. These are, I'm very proud of these 4 contrast effects. They took a long time. But anyway, they just add contrast while protecting your highlights.
Okay.
And without pushing the midtones down in order to protect your highlights.
Okay. Okay. Makes
Yeah.
sense. So just to kind
Sorry.
of get us to this point, this is not going to magically make your footage, suddenly look filmic. It's not going to fix massive exposure color. Well, you actually can do some white balance corrections with some of the LUTs. It seemed like maybe.
Yes, you can, but it's not always. It's not going to be accurate. LUTs are just not designed to do that.
Yeah.
It's just
Yep.
region. So
So
sometimes, please.
yes, no, I was just going to say. So you still need to color correct. You still need to white balance, and then you start using these LUTs to get the look you want.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. So yeah, but what they do is to make your life easier. So basically, you can start with adding some contrast while protecting your highlights. So basically, this is something that instead of wasting 10 minutes doing, you just grab 4 LUTs, see which one that works, and just move on. And then you can add a simple LUT just to reduce the saturation of red. Red is a big problem.
Yep.
And it's a huge problem. And desaturating red is always important. So basically, you can just add a simple LUT that will just choose exactly red and desaturate it really fast. And then after getting to this point where you have your contrast, you have your color balanced, but when it comes to white balance, you're going to have to do it manually, of course. Then you can move to the next phase, which is looking for a style. And this style is not based on emulating a certain film stock. It's based on emulating a certain style that was used in a certain film genre. Like for a while, I was looking at green. I like the color green. When your footage looks a bit green, like the Matrix style. I noticed that the color green, when the film is when it's an action movie, green is completely different. They treat green completely differently than when it's like some sort of a historic movie or some sort of and it's completely different if it's like a mafia movie. So basically, it was basically me analyzing a lot of films over the past 3 years, just looking at the film, and I always built these LUTs to make balanced and corrected footage look more like this particular film. Like it will get you like 80% of the way there, but you're still going to have to do the extra 20%.
Okay. And then these LUTs work in Premiere Pro, obviously, but what else do they work in? Where else can you use them? What other apps?
And they work now with Resolve, Premiere, anything that can read the 3D LUTs formats.
Okay.
I'm still converting them to 1D LUTs. Some softwares like Avid, they still read. They have a different extension.
Yep.
So I didn't really think that anybody would. Frankly, when I had the LUTs up, I didn't really expect anybody to buy them to start with. I'm going to be frank with that. And then people started buying them, and all of a sudden I have people who are using it with Avid just asking for the other extension. So I'm just working on this. It's going to be up next week.
Okay.
But as far as Premiere, DaVinci Resolve, LUT Buddy for the FCPX, it's working fine.
It also, just for on the FCPX side, Color Finale was just released a few weeks ago, and I tested it in there. So it's working in Color Finale within Final Cut Pro 2 as well. And the really cool thing about that is rather than having to add an adjustments layer, sorry, everyone's looking at you and I'm talking, sorry. They actually have layers in there, and you can adjust the opacity there without having to add another adjustment layer. So it's even easier way to work.
Yeah, Color Finale is beautiful. I saw this. Denver have always been doing a great job.
Yeah, it's good work.
So so it's a beautiful. I've never used FCPX personally. I really have no idea how to use it, but for people who are using it, I'm sure it's going to be very valuable.
Yep, it's good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, anything else you wanted to cover here before we wrap it up?
I'm always go back to the same thing, which is please, even if you buy this LUT pack, just don't assume that any LUT pack on earth would just make your footage look filmic just by simply adding a LUT. That it just doesn't work that way. If you have to start from everything, from the set design all the way to audio. That's film look.
Everything. And you know what's interesting to me is when I played with them some, and what I find is they're actually a pretty good learning tool. So I'm certainly not a colorist. I'm, just an enthusiast trying to learn how to make my video look better. And just playing with them was pretty instructive for me. You kind of start to understand how color reacts in different, if you add it in different order.
That's a very important point that you're bringing here. Is that yes, I'm always say that it's not going to make your footage look filmic, but it will definitely take you to a lot of places in color that you wouldn't be able to get there without a professional colorist on your side. Yeah. So if you want your footage to look like 80% more like like any film that you like some mafia or some historic movie or commercials, it's going to take you to places that you just simply cannot. You can't simply just figure it out on your own. If you're just starting, you've been only coloring for the past 3 or 4 months, you can't just do it. So basically this is like having a professional colorist next to you, and this colorist is asking you, what do you think? Look at this. What do you think? Is this good? And this is how coloring works.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You have the director sitting next to you, and you just keep on telling him. You suggest things. Okay. The director will look at you. What do you think? And you're just gonna be okay. We'll do this. We'll do that. How about this look? How about this look? And throughout this process, you'll get to the look you want. So having these LUTs is like having a big, a colorist, a professional colorist next to you, suggesting many things and showing you what to do. And this will get you like 70 or 80% of the way there very fast, which is what these LUTs will do. They will save you time, and they will definitely make your footage look way more professional if you use them, and just experiment with them.
Yep. Awesome. Well, and it's really worthwhile, and again, instructive and time saver. And you could just drop these on your clips, or even at the entire timeline. It just saves a lot of time. And again, for me, I really enjoy the fact that I feel like I'm making some progress in terms of learning color and how to color. So
would you like me to just share my screen one more time? Because I was in the process of if we have time, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
You bet. That's perfect.
Hopefully it will work this time. Share. So if anything freezes, please tell me.
Okay, we've got Premiere back. Yep.
Okay, and you see this guy walking.
Okay,
let's take a look at this piece of footage. Okay, now just by adding different types of LUTs, you can reach different looks and decide what you want way faster. Okay, because this is how it used to work. Okay, you will just come to this footage, which originally looked this way, and you will spend like maybe 10-15 minutes trying to get it here. And then you will spend another 10-15 minutes trying to get this look. And then you try to spend another 10-15 minutes trying to get a different look. And after 4 hours, you're going to be like really lost. So basically what LUTs will do, it will just make it way easier for you to get the exact look you want much faster. So let me give you a small example here. It's also on the website, but if I can find, like this image here. Okay, this looks weird. Forget about this one. Like this footage. Okay. Now, first of all, when you start with this footage, the first thing you'll notice here is that her, her scarf is really blue.
Yep.
It's really blue. So basically, I just added a simple LUT here from the LUT pack that just reduced the saturation of blue. Okay. So I simply got it to this point. So yes, I could have done this. Wow. I could have simply just done this manually and went and just keyed blue and just brought the saturation down.
Right.
But this is just much faster because, you have clients. You want to deliver it to your clients.
Yep.
And then I just added this look, which is called Paris Outdoor. I called it Paris basically because I like these perfume commercials, the Lux and perfume commercials. So I used to always do it. And I just added a third LUT to desaturate shadows. So I just got the saturation of shadows way down. So these things I could have completely done everything here on my own, okay, without a LUT. But again, just using the LUT will make you get to your footage to the point you want much faster.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I also have some other examples here. Okay, like just look here. Like this one, I can simply have a lot that says keep red. I have keep red because this is the range where you have the skin tones. So you can have these nice effects where everything is desaturated and you have the skin tones. However, you can totally do it inside Premiere, but it's not that precise. I have to admit that inside Premiere, you can't really achieve the same smoothness of color, like these LUTs. And then, you can have different effects and experiment really fast with what you want, So just by saving time, because it usually takes a very long time to get to the look that you want. And with these LUTs, you can, or with any LUT pack, but these are designed a bit differently in the way it's modular. You can simply stack them on top of each other.
Yeah.
I don't know, frankly, what else to say.
Yeah, no. I was going to say just to that, the fact that you can stack them, they're like the little steps that you would normally do for color grading, instead of boom, here's one huge LUT and everything gets applied.
Yeah, definitely. That's one more thing, because people usually just try to accomplish everything in the same LUT.
Yeah,
and it's impossible, because every piece of footage is completely different.
Yeah.
So these LUTs will just make your life a bit easier, and it's like having a professional colorist next to you, asking you, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah.
This is because a coloring session usually goes like 6 hours of what do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
And after a while, it almost feels to me sometimes when I'm doing stuff like that is that my eyes become sensitized and I can't tell one thing from another after a while. If it's 4-hour session, by the end of that 4 hours, I'm just like, I got to step away.
You have to set up. Maybe what I used to do sometimes is actually I have a set of nice images on the side that I have them that are color corrected and bright and beautiful. So every like half an hour, I would just keep on looking at these images, just to desensitize myself.
Reset your eyes,
just resetting the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
good, Alex. Thanks so much for your time. So one of the tricks with LUTs that I've seen in the past, and I have bought some in the past, but like the film emulation LUTs tend to be kind of expensive. What's the pricing on yours?
There's one thing. I have the base. I have smaller LUT packs, so you can buy smaller LUT packs. So let's say you don't want to get the action LUT pack, or you just want to get the cross-process LUT pack. You can simply buy one of them, the cross-process one, and and all of them, whatever you buy, will always include the basic LUT pack.
Okay.
Because that's the heart, that's the engine that gets the whole system moving. However, the entire LUT pack, the whole LUTs, which is 205 LUTs, is for $120.
Okay.
Yeah, and because we're doing the session now, anybody who buys them, through, you're going to be posting, I believe, a link down. Or anybody who buys them through the next week will be able to get a 20% discount, which is always going to be available through your channel, but also they will get a lifetime access to the DaVinci Resolve course, the DaVinci by the full course.
This is the course we talked about last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they will also be getting a free upgrade. It also includes the free upgrade for the DaVinci Resolve 12 course coming soon when
once it's released.
Once it's released. So whoever buys through this week will get a 20% discount on top of the a lifetime access to the DaVinci Resolve course, and of course it's all of its updates.
Full LUT pack. Okay, Alex, thanks so much. I hope we can call on you again, because we got several questions on when I posted this episode earlier on with some additional kind of more in-depth questions about color grading. So I hope we can bring you back sometime and talk through some of those as well.
I'll be happy to do that.
All right. Well, thanks again for your time, Alex, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you for having me.
Take care.